A quiet afternoon in my garden turned into a total nightmare when I stepped on a pine board near my raised beds, and the timber crumbled like a dry biscuit under my boot. Termites had completely hollowed the solid wood from the inside out, leaving nothing but dust. How can a recycled soda bottle and a balsa wood stick save your home from this silent destruction? You can build an invisible, highly sensitive early warning system using a throwaway plastic bottle and a cheap stick of balsa wood. This setup creates a mechanical alarm that flashes a warning the second those pests crawl near your foundation. It doesn't use electricity or toxic chemicals. I'll show you exactly how to build it, but first, you need to understand why the usual ways we try to protect our yards fail. Down home, my granddaddy used to say that the best way to solve a problem is to watch how nature behaves. I grew up in northern Alabama, where we lived in a drafty house built of local loblolly pine. We didn't have fancy exterminators or money to burn back during the Great Depression. We had to rely on close observations of the land to keep our barns and homes standing. My granddaddy spent his evenings watching the soil, and he taught me how to spot trouble before it ever crossed the threshold. Now listen, subterranean termites do nearly all the damage to homes down south. These pests live deep in the cold, wet soil, soft-bodied and incredibly thin-skinned. They'll dry out and die in a matter of hours if they hit the open air. Because of that, they must stay connected to the wet ground. To reach the wood in your house, they build long, thin tunnels made of mud and saliva. You'll see these pencil-width tubes climbing up concrete foundations. My neighbor Jim learned the hard way that ground systems have their limits. He built these bottle stations around his house, checking them every month. The orange indicators never dropped. He felt safe. But in 2024, he noticed a tiny pile of dry coffee ground frass on his bedroom windowsill. When he tapped the window frame, his finger went right through the hollow pine. He had a massive infestation of drywood termites. They fly through the air, bypass the soil, and move straight into your attic. His ground monitors never saw them because drywood termites require zero soil contact. It cost him $4,200 for full tinting and gas treatment. That's why I'm warning you today. If you live in coastal areas or the deep south, watch your windowsills for those tiny, six-sided frass pellets, because ground systems are blind to drywood species. When folks find termites, they usually call a local pest company. Bill paid an exterminator $1,200 for a professional system, plus $250 every single year just for a guy to walk his yard with a clipboard. The big commercial systems use black plastic stations that cost $15 to $25 each. Because those stations are so expensive, companies space them 10 to 20 feet apart. That wide spacing is the real enemy. I watched a technician install them at my cousin Bob's house in Huntsville, and he literally measured out 15 feet between each tube. That's a massive gap. A termite colony can easily forage right between those wide gaps, miss the bait entirely, and walk straight into your kitchen floorboards. If you look at the math, a full perimeter defense for an average home costs under $25 with our setup, compared to over $300 with commercial units. That's a massive cost reduction of over 92%, and you can do it all yourself over a single weekend. So, we tested a mechanical approach in our own backyard. It costs under 50 cents per station, meaning you can place them close together to block every entry path. To build one, you need a heavy-walled plastic bottle. Flimsy water bottles that crush under pressure will not work. Look for a sturdy sports drink bottle or a soda container that resists soil pressure. Next, you need a stick of balsa wood, because balsa is incredibly soft, so soft that termites will feast on it much faster than hard pine without wearing down their mandibles. This dramatically speeds up your detection time. In my own garden, I watch them ignore thick oak blocks to gorge on a piece of balsa wood within 3 days. Cut the balsa stick so it's 6 inches long. It must be exactly 3/16 of an inch longer than the distance from the bottom of your bottle to the top of the neck. We want this stick to stay centered. Wrap a 1/2-inch strip of corrugated cardboard around the top end of the balsa stick and slide it into the neck of the bottle so it fits snugly. Before you put it in, spray the top inch of the wood with bright fluorescent orange paint to make your visual alarm. When you screw the bottle cap on tightly, it presses down on the balsa wood. The stick is slightly too long, so the cap forces it tightly against the flat bottom of the bottle. Now the balsa wood is held under continuous pressure. This compression is the heart of the whole trigger. To make sure the stick doesn't shift out of place from lawn vibrations, drill a tiny hole through the plastic neck into the orange area. Slide a toothpick or a small finishing nail through the hole into the wood. Keep the hole in the plastic slightly larger than the toothpick because we need every part to slide freely when the wood is eaten. One tiny snag and the alarm fails. Keep only about 1/8 of an inch of the toothpick sticking out past the surface of the bottle. Now, cut 4 small slits into the side of the bottle near the top and 4 more near the bottom. These openings are 1½ inches long and 1/2 inch wide. Finally, spray the bottom third of the bottle with flat black paint so it blends into the dirt. To install your stations, use a drill with a garden auger bit to make holes in the soil. Place them 3 to 4 feet away from your foundation, exactly 4 feet apart. That dense spacing is the entire secret. It's almost impossible for a termite tunnel to pass through a 4-foot gap without hitting a station. Drop a flat acrylic disc into the bottom of the hole first. This prevents the bottle from sinking over time. Push the bottle down cap first until the black painted bottom sits flush with the turf. When you look down, you'll see a clear viewing window in the center of the black plastic with a bright orange dot pressed tight against it. If termites enter the slits and eat the balsa wood, the structural strength of the stick fails. Because the bottle cap is compressing the stick, the weakened wood collapses. The orange indicator drops down into the dark bottle and disappears. All you have to do is walk your yard once a month and look for the orange dots. If a dot is gone, you have termites. If a station triggers, you must transition immediately to a liquid treatment or a professional bait like fipronil to protect your home. Down home, the old-timers used a cheap borax trick to preserve wood. Mix 10 ounces of borax powder into a gallon of hot water and stir until dissolved. Paint this liquid on bare timber to make a non-toxic barrier that protects your garden structures. The borax interferes with the bacteria in their gut, starving them from the inside out within 21 days. Keep the bottles, cut the balsa wood, check your orange indicators once a month, and save your home for pennies.